All right, welcome. We are tackling a huge question today, maybe one of the biggest questions in all of history. And we're going to use our source material to explore it. Who is Jesus?
So, let's start with a question for you. You know that feeling, that deep down question that everyone asks at some point, who am I really? It's this universal search for identity, right? But where do you even begin to answer that? Well, what if the answer isn't just about looking deeper inside yourself? What if, to truly figure out who you are, you have to start with a totally different, more fundamental question first? That's the argument our source material puts forward. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. We'll start with that life-defining question. Then we're going to explore who Jesus is through two huge titles, King of all kings and the one and only Savior. After that, we'll see how those ideas come together in an incredible invitation of love. And finally, we'll tie it all back to that universal search for happiness. All right, section 1, the life-defining question. And this is where our source makes a pretty bold claim right off the bat. The path to knowing yourself doesn't actually start with you. It starts with knowing Jesus. Now, to get this, we have to understand what the word know even means here. In the original languages of the Bible, words like ginosko and yada, to know someone isn't just about having information about them. It's not trivia. It's a deep, personal, relational understanding. It's the difference between knowing about a celebrity and truly knowing your best friend. So the big idea here is that this kind of deep, personal knowing of Jesus isn't just some abstract religious concept. The text argues that it's actually the key that unlocks everything else, an understanding of God, and ultimately a real understanding of who you were made to be. Okay, so if knowing him is the key, then who is he? Let's dig into the first big title our source explores, the King of all kings. And again, we gotta look at the words themselves. When the Bible uses the word king, melech in Hebrew or basileus in Greek, it means so much more than just a guy on a throne. It's about being a protector, someone with total authority, sure, but who uses it to shelter and care for his people. And this is where we see a major clash. On one side, you have what everyone at the time was expecting, a military hero, a political powerhouse who would come in and just crush the Roman occupation. But the ancient prophecies, they told a very, very different story. And then you get this prophecy from Zechariah, written hundreds of years before Jesus was even born. It describes the king arriving not on a war horse, but lowly and riding on a donkey. I mean, a donkey is a symbol of peace. That is a massive statement and the complete opposite of what people were looking for. So, to build on this unique idea of kingship, the text points to three really specific titles given to Jesus. Each one adds another piece to the puzzle. Son of Man points to his eternal authority. Son of God points to his divine right to rule. And Lord, well, that one was the most loaded of all. You have to understand how explosive that title, Lord, really was. In the Roman Empire, the #1 pledge of allegiance was Caesar is Lord. So to stand up and say, actually, Jesus is Lord, that wasn't just a religious statement. It was an act of political treason. It was looking the most powerful empire in the world in the eye and saying, your guy is in the ultimate authority. So that powerful, dangerous claim about his kingship leads us right into the next big idea, Jesus as the one and only Savior. This shifts the focus from his authority to his mission. And it starts with his actual name. Jesus, or Yeshua in the original Hebrew, literally means the Lord saves. Think about that. His name is his mission statement. It's all about rescue, liberation, and finding true safety. And the source really doubles down on just how unique this mission is, pointing to this verse from the book of Acts. The claim here is pretty stark. Jesus isn't presented as a way to be saved, but as the way. It's a very exclusive, profound claim about his role. And that brings us to Christ. Super important point here. Christ isn't his last name. It's a title, like president or doctor. It comes from Christos or Mashiach, and it means the anointed one, the one person specifically chosen and commissioned by God for this world-saving mission. Okay, so we've got a king with ultimate authority, and we've got a savior on a rescue mission. How in the world did those two things go together? Well, that's where we're going next, to a king's invitation of love. And this right here is the paradox at the very heart of it. Think about any king or ruler in history. They demand things from you: taxes, service, loyalty. This king, he does the opposite. He offers to take something from you: your burdens.
And this is that invitation, in his own words, what our source calls the king's love letter. It's not a command, it's not a law, it's just this open, compassionate offer. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest.
So you see, it all flips on its head. This king's authority isn't demonstrated from a golden throne, it's demonstrated from a cross. His power isn't in domination, but in sacrifice. All right, so we have come full circle. A king who serves, a savior who rules from a cross. What does any of this have to do with that question we started with, our own personal search for happiness? Let's land the plane here. This whole exploration forces us to ask a really deep question. Let's forget about temporary fun or fleeting moments of joy for a second. What is real, true, lasting, eternal happiness? What does that even look like? And here it is, the answer our source lands on. True happiness isn't a thing you get, it's a state of being. It's being totally liberated from your deepest fears. It's feeling completely safe in a love that can't and won't ever end. That's the rest this king, this savior, offers. And so the final thought is this: what if the key to truly knowing yourself is found in accepting that invitation to know him?